Welcome to this lesson on non-conventional communicative behavior. I'm Kristen Beard. I'm an autistic assistant professor in philosophy. I did my PhD in high context communication, and I help others like me who weren't born knowing how to do these things. Over the next 7 minutes, I'll teach you about the two types of behavioral communication. We'll look at an example of behavioral communication, and I'll give you a quick interpretation guide for how to tell when behavior is communicative and how to tell what it means. There's two kinds of behavior that communicates. First is conventional. That's things like waving, a heart sign, or sign language. These gestures mean roughly the same thing across situations or across contexts. Conventional communicative behavior is easier to understand than non-conventional communicative behavior because the meaning doesn't change much from situation to situation. Once we learn the meaning of a behavior, we pretty much know what it means when we come across it again. Then there's non-conventional communicative behavior, and that'll be the main focus of this video. Here's an example of non-conventional communicative behavior. In this scene, we see the character Angela smashing her ice cream cone against the side of Andy's car. This is non-conventional communication because smashing your ice cream cone against someone's car doesn't always mean something. And when it does, it doesn't always mean the same thing. Non-conventional communication can be harder to recognize sometimes because any behavior can be used in this way to communicate. Smashing ice cream, doing push-ups, or using larger than normal amounts of hand sanitizer. Of course, often these behaviors have no meaning at all, but then other times they have a very specific communicative meaning that the person who's executing the behavior expects us to recognize and understand. When someone communicates with us non-conventionally, they expect us to realize that the whole reason they did the behavior was for the sake of communicating with us. They expect us to recognize that there was no other reason for them to do that behavior other than for the sake of communicating. So how do we tell when a behavior is supposed to communicate something and when a behavior is just a behavior that's not communicating anything at all? We look for two things when asking if a behavior is communicative. Number one, are they doing something that they take to be surprising or attention-grabbing? Number two, are they checking to see if we saw or otherwise observed the surprising or attention-grabbing behavior? This usually means that they initiate eye contact when there wasn't eye contact already happening, or they look at us for longer than they normally would. If they are doing something that they think will be surprising or attention-grabbing to us, and also checking to make sure that we saw it, this is a strong clue that the behavior is communicative. Next, we check, is there another reason why they would be doing this behavior besides communication? If there's another reason besides communication that they might be doing this behavior, then we can generally assume that the behavior is not communicative. However, if there is no other reason why someone would be doing that behavior right now, this indicates that they might be communicating with us. Now at this point, we can do two things. Number one, we can ask what they might be communicating. So Andy might say, "What are you trying to tell me right now?" Or number two, we can guess what they might be communicating. To guess what someone might be communicating through their behavior, we ask ourselves, What was the question under discussion when the person did the communicative behavior? Generally speaking, not just for behavior, but also for words and verbal communication, what people say serves to answer what's called the question under discussion. At any point in a conversation, there is an implicit, sometimes explicit, main question that participants are trying to answer. This question under discussion organizes everything that gets said at that point in the conversation. So let's apply all of this to Angela's ice cream. First, we ask, is Angela communicating with Andy by smashing her ice cream against his car? So first we ask, does Angela take this behavior to be surprising or attention grabbing? And is she checking to see that Andy is watching the behavior? We can assume that yes, Angela's behavior, she takes it to be surprising because we just saw her enjoying the ice cream. And there's no other reason why she would be smashing the ice cream cone against Andy's car right now. So we can assume that it's probably communicative. Now, to guess what Angela was trying to communicate by smashing her ice cream against Andy's car, we can ask, what was the question under discussion when she performed that behavior? We just saw Andy sort of make a bid to play with Angela and be silly together by going and taking a cheeky bite of her ice cream cone. So the question under discussion right now is, how does Angela feel about Andy's bid for play? Is she accepting the bid or is she rejecting the bid? Now, which seems more likely based on the nature of this action? Well, it seems like she's probably not happy about what Andy just did. There's two main answers to the current question under discussion. Either Angela likes what Andy just did, or she doesn't. Which seems more likely? It seems like she didn't like it. So that's what we can guess what Angela was communicating by smashing the ice cream against the car. So there you have it. In this video, we saw two types of behavioral communication, conventional and non-conventional. We focused on non-conventional, we saw an example, and we saw a general interpretation guide for figuring out how to tell when behavior is communicative and how to tell what it means. If you'd like some personalized help developing your nonverbal communication skills, I'm available for one-on-one appointments at the booking link below. Thanks for watching this intro to behavioral communication. Please remember to hit that like button and that subscribe button. I look forward to teaching you more about social and communication theory in videos to come. I'll see you around here real soon.